Hi, today we're looking at layout of duct fittings, and we're going to start right at the beginning of just a straight piece of duct, so something like this. When we're talking about duct fittings or duct work, we're referring to simple or straight line pattern development, and there's really no real pattern development to it. We are creating a pattern, but it's a simple pattern. There's no real development part of it. It's merely calculating a blank size, so our XY, how big the piece of metal is that will encompass the part, and then drawing the lines on it. And those are going to be bend lines or notches or whatever they may be. But it's just that. It's a pattern. It's a simple pattern. Okay, so we're looking at getting into fittings, and we're looking at a piece of ductwork. So something like this one. Okay, so we have our opening, which we see here. And then this one, where we've got just a small length, but any piece of duct, we're going to have a length involved in it. And that's what we see on the depth here. It can be referred to as the depth, the length, depending on how you're looking at it, of what we might see. So when we have that fitting, we're going to be given a shop drawing of it. And for something as simple as a piece of duct, we might not even have a drawing to go with it. What we need is the opening size and length, and that's it. So if we call this one 4x6 duct, and let's call it 10 inches long. These may or may not have even the units associated with them. But we know it's not 4 feet by 6 feet in this case. So we're looking at the side. We're looking at this view of it here from a blueprint or this the original drawing that we see, and it's just a duct out of the system. So we're not getting a real detailed one. We don't get a three-dimensional drawing like this one. What we do know from blueprints or any drawing, though, is the first number given is what we see in the view given. So that means that this dimension here is the 4. And if we had some depth to it, if we could see this way, this is our 6 going backwards. But we can't see that in this view. So we see the 4 here. And if we could, this would be the 6 here. But we do know it's there. So when we're given a fitting like this, again, our first step is to find blank sizes. We would need to find the piece of metal that we'll build this out of. And if we imagine it in this shape here, in the three-dimensional drawing, we know what we see. This dimension here is the 4. And this one's the 6 that we can't see. And what we have to figure out is the stretch, what we call the stretch out. So taking that piece of duct and unfolding it. Okay? And that's going to be 4 plus 6 plus 4 plus 6. Or perimeter, right? Perimeter of a rectangle. So we're just adding all the dimensions up. 4 plus 6 is 10, plus another 10 is 20. Okay, so our stretch out is 20. And let me just write it in here. Blank size equals 20 by, we need our second dimension. We know the stretch out is 20 inches. That's our perimeter. Our second dimension is going to be based off the length, off 10. And we got our 10 here. So that just is what it is. We're not using seams or anything. 10 inches. So there we go. We get a blank size, fairly straightforward off this one. Okay? So let's go ahead and draw our blank out, and we'll do our layout from there. It's really straightforward on this one, so not much to see, but we'll draw it out. Okay. So there's our stretch out, there's our blank size. piece of metal we cut to make this part. Now, from here, we've made it out of one piece. Now we have an option of making this and put in, say, one joint in it. Let me change colors here. We could put one joint in, and if we have no seams, ours are just welded. But we could put a joint here and make it all one piece, which we've done. We could also put maybe two joints in it and make it L-shaped duct. And we see that quite often. That's good for transporting it to a job site from the shop, say. You can stack it up much nicer when it's in L-shaped. But if you're welding it, probably not ideal to do, right? You're going to want to weld that up in the shop probably. So there's options anyways, and that's all I mean. And all we would do is, if we were making it two pieces, we would have this split in the middle. We'd have two 10 by 10s. Okay? So that is one option, is to make it multiple pieces. There's nothing to say we couldn't make it out of 4 pieces. So anyways, once we've decided all that, we move on, we get our blank or blanks, multiples, and now we want to do our layout on it. Now, first thing, as always, we want to put an arrow in the direction of airflow. And this just shows me that this is the perimeter where I'm going to do some bends on it. And this is the length where the air is actually flowing through it this way. So we're looking at it going like this, right? Air traveling down the length of the duct. And that just keeps us on track for doing our layout there. Okay, so let's mark this out. And like I said, we're going to mark out our perimeter, 4, 6, 4, 6. We usually start with the small side. So I come in, I got my 4 is there, and I'll just scribe that up while I'm here. Let me switch colors so that not on my arrow. Okay, so I've got 4, 6. This comes back here to 4 again. Four, 6, 4, 6. Just like our drawing was there. So when we go back to our original, we know we're coming down 4, then across 6, back up 4, and back to our starting point. 4, 6, 4, 6. Make those 3 bends, and the piece is finished. We just got to weld it up, or however we're joining it. Okay, that's a start of duct fittings, straight piece of duct.